This week, the Seattle City Council, in a 7-2 vote, expanded the number of surveillance cameras throughout the city. The new cameras will be installed at Garfield High School, Stadium District, and Capitol Hill Nightlife District. Over 100 people spoke at the public comments, and the majority of them were against the legislation. Watch this clip.
And I want to say, I hope you honor the people who are our most vulnerable community members, who are trans, who are immigrants, who are queer, disabled, and who are putting their lives at risk coming here, being on TV to say, please think of our lives under a federal government that is trying to make them go away.
People here have been very charitable to you. They've fulfilled your humanity. I will not, because I do not believe you have it. They've made logical arguments on how this program will not do what you say it will do, and I won't do that either, because I think you know that. I think this program is a means for you to offer up Seattle's Donald Trump on a silver platter because you think it's safer for you to live in the right hand of the devil than others, but because you are cowards. Alright? So I'm not here to tell you to vote no, because I know it doesn't matter. What I'm here to remind you is that the tech billionaires that have all bought and paid for all of you already are building their bunkers in rural New Zealand because they know this is all coming down around and they need somewhere to hide their costs. And when the power grid goes off, they're not bringing you with them. When we start eating people, we're going to remember who voted for these things that made our lives worse. We're going to know your names, we're going to know your faces, we're going to know your families, we're going to know where you live. And we are going to come. If you get a chance to kill yourself before then, I recommend you take it. Also, 2 parts? Used motor oil, 1 part of kryptonite coat paint, 1 part crushed glass can damage optical sensors to the point they need to be fully replaced. Kill yourself, you fucking fools!
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Please proceed.
Okay, now while we were having that discussion, the Nepalese parliament was being burned to the ground. This program would like to remind politicians everywhere to never underestimate what angry, frustrated, or scared people are capable of. But I digress. I had a chance to speak with the bill's sponsor, and I asked him why he felt the commenters were so negative. Why do you think that the public comment was overwhelmingly against it?
This public comment here in the chambers was overwhelmingly against it, but it doesn't account for the public comment or the engagements that we've had in community throughout the district, and in my case related to public safety across the city. And so that's what I was saying. We get engagement on a daily basis, and that's where the disconnect is, to be frank.
Okay, so when you're out in the field, the majority of the people you speak with are actually for these cameras?
Yes, because they understand that we have to have a complete effort against, in a Seattle way, constitutional policing way, to address the challenges that we're facing. I mentioned in my comments last week, I was in Interbay with 24 people, and they were commenting on the challenges they face, the costs they face, the concern about their employees being attacked, the tens of thousands of dollars that they have to put in for security systems. And so yes, and I actually brought CCTV up and RTCC, and they were supportive. So that's just like an example. That's just one of many.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, Councilmember Kettle has a valid argument. The idea that one does not have a reasonable expectation of privacy in public is settled in common law. Also, there is a large segment of the population who would support mass surveillance. We don't have any polling specific to our fair city, but in a study done by the libertarian-leaning Cato Institute, 3 out of 10 members of Gen Z would support government cameras in their homes to reduce illegal activity. Also, a poll conducted by Pew Research shows that 46% of American adults believe that the use of facial recognition by law enforcement would be a good idea for society. Now keep in mind, this bill does not include any of that. But as you can see, there are people who wish to trade liberty for security. Why anyone would trust the government with such things is beyond me. This program's favorite council member was able to succinctly summarize everything wrong with the bill.
When this pilot was initially approved last year, it's fair to say that we were in a different moment. This was sold to community as a pilot program, but here we are just months after that so-called pilot program started, and the mayor is asking for around 400 more cameras across our city to be used for 24/7 police surveillance. Can anyone on this dais tell me if the initial cameras that council approved are working? Because the answer is no, we have no data. An anecdote maybe, but the substantive data on crime prevention or solving crimes, because CCTV and RTCC, they've only been up for a couple of months, and we've contracted with the University of Pennsylvania for a study, but they haven't even had a chance to begin that work. Despite that, this bill would expand the program across the city to more neighborhoods. That's not being data-driven, that's being reckless with people's privacy.
Yes.
So why are we rushing to do this when the data we requested hasn't even been collected? And why are we doing this at a time when the Trump administration is using any means necessary to take this exact data to target trans people, immigrants, and people seeking reproductive health care?
Yes.
So are we going to listen to the people that we serve? I do not look forward to the day where we have to sit back up here on this dais and deal with the aftermath of our data being handed over to other actors. I do not want to be sitting up here in the future telling people, I'm sorry we put your community in danger, when we could have stopped it today. It is a matter of when, not if, the data will be handed over to the federal government and other actors. So colleagues, I urge you for these reasons to think of your neighbors, think of your community, and to think if you yourself would want to live with a camera infringing on your civil liberties. And for these reasons, and to serve the people of Seattle, I will be voting no on this legislation.
Now, she is right. The bill's sponsor even says that we are a country in crisis. We have a federal government that unabashedly violates people's civil rights and does so with glee. If our president was as dangerous as Bob Kettle claims, why would he build the infrastructure for his future police state? It doesn't make sense. But regardless, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. If you like this content, please consider subscribing. This is Rayanne, and I'm signing off. Be safe out there.